Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and welcome to No Budget Reviews, the series where we go around the country finding cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and filming them with absolutely no money at all. So we have to use my phone, no microphones, no fancy DSLRs, nothing like that. Just good honest cars that you can buy for very little money and you can enjoy driving. Well, viewers, here we are with No Budget Reviews, and we still haven't got any money to buy any proper equipment, but of course that's the way we like it. This is a 1996 Rover 216 SI automatic. It's owned by Jude, who also owns lots of other Rovers of this era. He has a 214 SI that's actually an earlier model than this. And you would have seen that No Budget. It's a green car. This one is blue, and actually the paint on this is a bit better than the other one. I think he paid a little bit more for this, but we're still talking well within No Budget Reviews territory, well under £1,000. If we look in the boot, we can do it. There we go. Just about with one hand. One of the things about these R3 200s. This is the model edition for this particular type of 200. The earlier ones were the ST3 and the R8. Well, the R8 covers a lot more models of car, which I'll go on to a bit later. The thing about these R3s is the boot is really big for this size of car, and if we lift it up here, we can see it's all really solid under here. Jude picked this up from an elderly owner. Quite recently. A lot of them were owned by older people. You can see it's absolutely solid and true under here. It's really good. One of the things that you'll notice as well, like a lot of cars of this era, we do have a bit of rust around just this rear arch. On the other side isn't like that, and on that side, the wheel, it's obviously a little ding. This was a London car, so that's not particularly surprising. Lots of common parts, of course, with other Rover models of the era. These door handles, straight out of the late 80s Honda Civic and used in the Mark I Freelander and Rover 25 until 2005. The other car of this type you would have seen on the channel, Rover 25, that was also owned by Jude, although he's actually recently sold that. This is an SI like the other one was, the green one. He's still got that somewhere, but this is a 97 model, being December 96, so we've actually got a few more features in this car. One of the main things we've got is electric windows. Still got some wood trim in here, and what's called a paisley interior. It's quite common actually for the door cards to go a bit funny, which these are. And you'll notice as well that we've got the Rover R8 style interior door handles. Also got some blank switches because we don't get electric mirrors in this car. What we do get are, again, Rover R8 and Rover 400 and Rover 45 and 25 indicator stalks. Again, very Honda. This dashboard also is shared with the later Rover R8, such as the post 1995 coupes, cabriolets and Vitoras. They shared the entire front structure with this car. It's just like an R8 underneath. We've actually got volume controls on here as well. Standard Rover Phillips cassette deck as well. There's the CVT automatic gearbox lever. There's only drive and low. There's no other positions on there. It's interesting. I find this steering wheel sits, if it's set for my driving position, this is set for Jude actually, and I'll just drive in his position, I think, today, because he's only slightly taller than me. I'll just use his position, but on the manual models, and I'm not going into much detail because we're driving the automatic today, the clutches are with the R65 gearbox, which is what you'll find in the majority of R3 200s, a co-development with Peugeot Citroën. The clutch is a cable clutch, and the travel tends to be quite long, and if they get very old, it's not the nicest clutch. You know, more of that in the 214 episode I'm about to produce. I'll link to that in the description below. There was provision for a passenger airbag with this model. Some cars just got an open shelf. This hasn't got a passenger airbag, it's just been filled in, which is pretty weird. Do get some wood, of course, because this is a Rover. Mozart piano concerto, very nice. Big open door bins, of course, and just you know, generally quite a nice seat, but I wouldn't want to travel too far in this. I find on these cars where the accelerator pedal is, it's very far over to the left hand side, and I don't find that very comfortable, really. Some people don't actually mind the driving position on these. Jude's never had a problem with it, but it's just the way that, you know, it tends to be for me. Like the R3 214 that I had, which was a 98 model, this does have an electric sunroof, although I'm not probably going to operate that today because electric sunroofs on older cars tend to be a bit, shall we say, dodgy. Another thing that is very common which goes on these cars is the resistor for the heating and ventilation controls. We'll see if this one works on, you know, more than one position. The one I had only worked on the top 2 speeds. That I think is a relatively simple job to sort out. Right, let's get into the back. One thing you'll be aware of straight away is that there's not a lot of leg room in here. I mean, with Jude's driving position, he's slightly taller than me. Just get in. Oh, I've really got no room at all. Not much. About nothing. Get an ashtray though. This car really, you know, was priced at the sort of Escort and Megane end of the market, whereas really it's more similar in size to something like a Corsa. Nice and light in here though, and the courtesy light is in the middle, so there's plenty of illumination. Manual windows on the back, of course, and you can see the paisley sort of cloth just coming off there. It's very common. The seat fabric though is quite nice. It feels really nice. It's probably one of the things people liked about these, and you can see it's a pleasant interior design for the mid 1990s. And the headlighting's not sagging either, though someone's had a go at transporting something in here which seems to have affected it. Okay, I think it's time to take a look at the engine bay. Unlike the R8, the 1.6 engined R3 like this for 216, this is a K-series engine. It's 110 horsepower, fuel injected, of course. All R3s, apart from the ones with the diesel engines, we don't talk about on this channel, were fuel injected. K-series does have a problem with cam cover gasket weeping, which you know, you can certainly see that this one has had an issue with it, but for the amount of money that you pay for it, it's not a huge problem. It's just a kind of aftermarket thing fitted there. I don't know what that is. Next to the coolant expansion tank. K-series is well known for blowing head gaskets. As we said on No Budget Reviews, every single time we drive a K-series engine car, it's pretty easy to put that right, actually. You know, you can do a preventative fix by putting an original, good quality head gasket set in from like a Victor Rhines type set. Make sure the head is skimmed and make sure someone who knows what they're doing fitted it properly. And obviously fit a new cam belt and water pump. This has a cam belt, and K-series engines are not very resistant to skipping cam belt changes. I mean, you should really skip cam belt changes on any engine really, but particularly with K-series engines, change the cam belt and water pump in accordance with manufacturer's guidelines. I'd say every 8 years or about 60-70,000 miles. But I know people who've had K-series engines with well over 200,000 miles out of them, and they haven't even done the head gaskets. So if you keep on top of the maintenance of them, they can be pretty good. But yes, they are prone to, you know, things like blowing head gaskets and water pump failure if you don't keep on top of the maintenance. If you're buying one of these, though, this car's you know, approaching 25 years old, chances are somebody's already changed the head gasket. But some of the multi-layers still had gaskets that were popular in the sort of late 2000s as a fix of it. They've not turned out to wear very well, so original spec ones are probably the best ones to use. Right viewers, just a very brief drive today because we've already covered a 25 and the manual 214 on this channel. Jude told me that this car rattles when you start it up because of the transmission, and you know, it really does. Apparently it stretches over time. The car's only got 30,000 miles on the clock, so you know it's probably in as good a condition as one of these is going to likely be. They're not very valuable cars. Jude hinted to me that this one might be for sale, so if anybody is interested in it, then do get in touch. So other engines available at launch, there was the 1.4 K series with 103 horsepower. I've driven and owned loads of cars with an engine. 1.6 like this one with 110 horsepower, either with this CVT gearbox or with the R65 co-developed Peugeot Citroën gearbox. 1.8 with 120 horsepower, and also the VVC version as used in a 200 VI and a 200 BRM with 143 horsepower.
Une heure plus tard.
Of course, you know, there were some 2-litre L series diesel versions of the R3200, but as you know, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. The normal specifications for this car were SI like this, SLI, GSI, and then right at the top would have been the VI and then the limited edition BRM. We'll talk about some of the other trim levels and special editions and things in a bit. To drive, steering's absolutely fantastic. Very direct. Ride is a little bit crashy, they always were. Maestro type suspension in the back, sort of modified version of it, and it feels fine. I'm a bit worried about this CVT gearbox. 1.8 versions of the car had the slightly nicer PG1 gearbox in them. Might be worth trying. Let's look at some special edition trim levels, shall we, or some later ones. Now, the 1.1 engine that was out of the Rover 100 was introduced about late 1997, and with that came a 75 horsepower version of the 1.4, both, well, I think were 8-valve units of the K series. And also the trim levels changed after about 1998. So new ones were IE, IL, IS, S and SE. Also, of course, just called Special Edition and SEI. The BRM started off at £18,000, only available in dark green with a kind of red accent leather interior and the orange nose cone. They then would reduce to 16,000, and then 14,000 when Rover 25 came out in late '99, because they just couldn't give them away. So strange. So viewers, should you consider a Rover 216 R3 model with the CVT gearbox? I don't know about this gearbox. It's rattling and stuff. Apparently that's not dangerous or anything or blowing up, but I would stick to the manual versions, probably with a PG1 gearbox at a 1.8, because, you know, they offer the best compromise of things. Yeah, they're not as bad as people say they are, and price is still pretty low. You know, this one's for sale, for example. Anyway, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more no budget reviews. Don't forget to turn on notifications by clicking the bell. And don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below. Social media links are down below. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.